you knew that coming into this week, we were going to have teams that is going to be eliminated. And Orlando City, of course, become the latest victim to that. And alongside with two other teams, after all the Saturday games are done, have been eliminated from the playoff. And we can potentially have a fourth team tomorrow that could be eliminated from the playoffs. The Dynamo, of course, are up for elimination tomorrow. If they lose their game tomorrow, they would be officially eliminated from the playoffs. And, because there's so many teams that got eliminated from the playoffs, this means that I will have to do a lot of moving forward series video in these next couple of days. And what I'm going to do with these moving forward series video is that I'm not going to do it all at once in one day. I think if I do that, it will really kind of stress you guys out to watch all those videos. But instead, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to do one or two moving forward series per day for the next couple of days. And yeah, first of all, we're going to start with Orlando City. And we start with Orlando City in the moving forward series because this was supposed to be the team I was supposed to do the moving forward series last week. I thought for sure they were going to be eliminated from the playoffs last week, but yet somehow they survived elimination last week, and now heading into a week later, as I was expecting this team to get eliminated, and as I said in the preview that I pretty much prepare everything for me to talk about in this video. Well, there you go. This is everything that I prepared last week, and now it's here 1 week later. And in many ways, this video is more like a video that is 1 week delay more than actually a new video. But yeah, first of all, let's start talking about their record. So as of now, they have 7 wins, 14 draw, and 19 losses this season. They currently have 25 points. Their goal score is 40 goals that they have scored total this season, but they have conceded 68 goals this season. And this was supposed to be the worst defense and the most goals conceded by any team in MLS coming into tonight's game until the Quakes conceded 69 goals after their game against the Red Bulls. But technically, Orlando City actually still concede the most goal if you look at the ratio between goals conceded per game. The Quakes have played 32 games. Orlando City only played 30 games. So if Orlando City concede one more goal or two more goals in these next 2 games, then they will be once again the worst defensive team in the league. And their goal differential is -28, which is the worst goal differential of any team in the Eastern Conference and the second worst team in all of MLS. Only the Rapids have a worse goal differential than Orlando City. And the goal differential of the Rapids, I think it's -31 that they have. In terms of the top goals scored, Dom Dwyer with 12 goals. Unsurprisingly, Dom Dwyer is their top goal scored because that is the guy that they've been always targeted as their main man for most of the games. Sasha Kleshin with 5, Christian Higuita with 4, Yoshi Yotun with 3, and Chris Mueller with 3. Top assist leader, Yoshi Yotun with 10 assists, Chris Mueller with 6, Sasha Kleshin with 6, Josue Coman with 5, and Tony Racha with 3 assists. So what went wrong with Orlando City? And I think if you ask any Orlando City fans and ask them what actually went wrong this season, why in a season where they were supposed to go all in and was supposed to have high expectation of making the playoffs, where it went all wrong. And the number one thing Orlando City fans will say is that their defense is a mess. And I have to totally agree with that. I mean, stats pretty much backs up of how bad this Orlando City defense is. But if you actually watch them play, yeah, it's just laughable at times watching this Orlando City defense go to work. I mean, it kind of in many ways remind me of of the Quakes defense that this Orlando City defense have. I mean, so many times that this team have conceded soft goals, so many times that they concede goals that could have been easily avoided if someone were able to make a smart kind of pass out of the back. And also, it's not just the defense that is bad, but also the goalkeeping. I mean, the goalkeeping, Joe Betnick has been just horrible this year. He's been the complete opposite of last season. And I think last season he actually had the most save of any other team. This season, yeah, he has done anything but that. And I think he probably have even the worst save percentage of any goalkeeper right now in MLS. The other thing that went wrong for Orlando City, all the players that they signed in the offseason turned into bust. Again, like I said, they were going all in this season. They were trying to get these kind of flashy kind of player like such a contention, Jose Coleman, Oriol Russell, and also Justin Miram. But it turns out that all of them turned into busts. In fact, even one of their player that they signed, Justin Miram, he's no longer playing with this team. He actually went back to Columbus. That is how bad things got with all the players that they signed. And, you know, Jose Coleman was kind of injured for most of the time, and, you know, he definitely did not perform. He definitely did not perform as advertised. Sasha Kleshin, it's the same thing. He definitely did not have a good season. I mean, I know he has 6 assists and he's third on the list as the top assist leader, but you would think he would get more than just 6 assists this year. Oriol Russell has been kind of non-existent for this team lately. I mean, he can't even get into the starting 11, let alone be on the bench right now or trying to start games. So it's been an absolute disastrous kind of resort with all their signings that they have in the offseason. And if you have to name one team that you thought that they were going to make the playoffs after all the offseason move, you would think Orlando City would be the one. The other thing that went wrong for this team, since the 6-game winning streak that they had back in April to May, they have won 1 game out of 21 matches. 1 out of 21. I mean, that's like 5 months with just 1 win on their record. And I'll tell you what, it has to be, you have to do something just ridiculously bad, and you have to do something that is completely out of the world to have this kind of record of just getting 1 win in 21 matches. I mean, all the teams so far in MLS have at least got more than 1 win in those 21 matches. Heck, even the Quakes have got more than 1 win in those 21 matches. I think they actually have 3 wins out of their last 21 matches. I mean, it is just a fatality kind of stretch that Orlando City has come. And ever since that 6-game winning streak of them thinking that they are really pushing for the playoffs, they have not only fell off the cliff, but they have fell out of the galaxy pretty much. And no pun intended in terms of the LA Galaxy, that is just kind of a reference to the actual galaxy. But yeah, it's been a fatal kind of run for Orlando City. And I think the other thing I want to add into there in terms of what also went wrong this season is that they just cannot get the balance right on this team. So when this team decided to be an attacking side, they leak goals. But when this team decided to go defensive and not worry about conceding goal, their attack really just kind of fatals out. And it's pretty evident of what has happened in the last month for Orlando City, of how they actually have now gone a whole month without scoring a single goal. And I think the reason why they are in this goal drought is that they're just so worried about their defense and so worried about kind of leaking goals that they just kind of sit back for a majority of the game, and nobody really want to make a forward pass knowing the fact that they're going to be worried that if they go on the attack, they're just gonna get kind of completely cut out when they give the ball away in a bad position. So there's just no balance on this team, and that is another thing that went wrong for Orlando City this year. What went right for Orlando City? Well, there wasn't a lot of things that went right. I think one of the thing that definitely went right for them is Dom Dwyer is still a great goal scorer, and he's proving it with 12 goals this season, although he hasn't scored in a couple of games, and you wonder with him in this kind of goal drought that he's in, you're worried that he will not be able to try to replicate of the good form that he was in the first half of the season and also in the beginning half of the season, and you're worried that he might not be the goal scorer next season when you really want him to continue that form. The emergence, of course, of Yoshi Yotun, and Yoshi Yotun is pretty much the difference between this team being at least kind of good and this team just completely garbage. I mean, every time when you see this Orlando City team does not have Yoshi Yotun, there is no creativity in this team, and this team just completely. It's almost like when they don't have Yoshi Yotun in this team, they are bound to lose the game, and they're gonna bound to lose it in a very bad way. That is how important Yoshi Yotun is to this team, and Yotun have definitely have missed a lot of games this season, mostly because of injury and also a couple of suspension, and hopefully next season he will be less kind of injury prone and try not to get like a lot of red card as he has done a couple of times this season. But it's also the fact that maybe Orlando City definitely need another guy that is kind of like the type Yoshi Yotun is, and that they just cannot also rely just one guy as the guy that could be the difference between them potentially have a shot of winning games and them just completely collapsing. And I think that's the thing that I will say about moving forward to them, is that they might need another Yoshi Yotun kind of player, and at least maybe not exactly just the carbon copy of what Yoshi Yotun is and what he does for the team, but at least kind of like some productivity that is similar to Yoshi Yotun, and just somehow able to help the team out when Yotun does went down, and that player that they can sign in the future will be a good replacement for them. But the other thing that moving forward for them they need to do is that they need to, of course, sign some defenders. I mean, the only way to fix your problem of conceding so many goals is that you got to find somebody that is a good defender that can not make some kind of silly mistake, some kind of schoolboy kind of mistake at the back. And also, next season might be their last season to make a big run. And, I don't know if this phrase kind of put in very well, because you would think next season should be their rebuilding year. But when you look at all those players that they signed during the last off season and how they were signed in kind of like a 2-year contract, next season is really the last season before they have to retool. And I think maybe in some way they probably should be better off to just retool next season. But that if you retool next season, the fans are going to really just stay away from the team. And, I know Orlando City has a very good support. They're one of the best supported team in MLS. But when you have a retool, and whenever you admit that you're going to have to sacrifice a season to rebuild and get things going, those fans are not going to like that. They want to see the team to have success. And especially with Orlando City, they never had success in MLS. This team, through their 4-year existence in MLS, still have not had a single MLS appearance. So to tell the fans that they're going to have to punt a year just to rebuild, that is probably not a good thing to do, and for a fan base that is desperate to have some success and want to get into the playoffs for once. The other thing that they might need to do is to get some players that could fit the James O'Connor system. I mean, I don't really know exactly what kind of tactics that James O'Connor really want to use. I mean, most time when I see some of the tactics that he used in the game are pretty defensive. And I think the reason why he put these defensive kind of tactics is because the amount of goals that they conceded and how they just have a garbage back line. And when you have a garbage back line, you tend to want to go more defensive and put more guys in the defensive end to protect that garbage kind of back line. If they get better defenders in the off season, with James O'Connor decided to be more kind of attacking, and will we finally see kind of what James O'Connor would do in terms of his tactics, because I'm pretty sure that he is not a defensive kind of manager. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of the games that he managed when he used to manage Louisville, and I'm pretty sure for those of you that have watched James O'Connor manage that Louisville team that won USL a couple of seasons ago, well, not a couple of seasons, but last season, you can tell me exactly what kind of tactics and philosophy that he implemented, but I just have a feeling it's not a defensive kind of philosophy that he implemented. And the reason why he's putting the defensive philosophy into this team is because this team just have a garbage backline. And I don't think that, another thing that I think Orlando City fans got to know is that I don't think you should just clearly blame on James O'Connor and just calling O'Connor out already, because you got to remember, the team that James O'Connor is working is not his team. It's Jason Christ's team. All the guys that is in the squad is a squad that Jason Christ has built, and it is a Jason Christ kind of team for the last couple of seasons. So until James O'Connor finally get his team and finally get the players that he needs to work with, then I think if the resort does not pick up, then maybe, yeah, you gotta have to blame on James O'Connor. But because he just arrived, and usually when you see new manager arrive to a new club, there's usually that transitional period. This is basically the transitional period, and that period usually are very, very rough. But either way, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button. If you're an Orlando City fan, make sure you guys leave a comments below of what you think of this video. Did I get some of the information correct or incorrectly? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time on another Moving Forward series video.